Hello Virgo, here's a reading for you for the new year 2019 or 2019. Sounds strange, but it's reality, it's coming. This reading is for you if you have your sun or rising sign in Virgo. Also check, the link is down below, check your natal chart, how your horoscope looks like, and whether you have, where do you have your personal planets, because the positions of personal planets are influencing your energies very much. So not only your sun and your ascendant or rising sign, but also moon, Venus, Mars and Mercury. If you have it strong in any other sign, also check it. Remember, these are energies. The energies are here to work with. You can do it, but you don't have to. The future isn't set in stone, and the power is yours. The power over your life is yours. You are co-creators of reality. So use this power, use your will for your greatest good. Of course, this reading is done having your greatest good in mind, in soul, and in heart. And you can see it's already on the table because I was doing the reading in my native language first. I think this year is very much about learning and knowing yourself. Quite passive energy, and passive. I don't want you to think it's negative, because passive means intaking, being ready to receive, or perhaps receiving is the receiving mode is the better explanation of this. Starting from the very middle with your main energy, which is Six of Cups, and this is a beautiful energy of emotional equilibrium, emotional flow, giving and taking, and being very much in the moment, being ready, being able to enjoy little things, little pleasures, the way you were able to do this when you were a child. It's about simple pleasures in life that really make it worthwhile. It can be quite a nostalgic card, but I don't feel it this way. I rather feel that you have this emotional flow. And as I said, this is a passive energy. This is a receiving energy. You're ready to see what's coming to you and just take it and enjoy it. As the main major arcana influencing your year, you have the Hanged Man. What I love about this card in particular is that he's putting himself in this position. Nobody is doing that to him. He's doing it himself. He's pulling the strings here. And there is purpose in this, and the purpose is to see things from a different perspective and to acquire knowledge that was impossible to acquire when you were active. And now you're just hanging and observing and seeing things upside down and seeing yourself as someone who perhaps is sacrificing something, but it's for the greater good. So again, receiving energy, and you can see how the shape of the frame creates kind of a jug or a cup. And this reading is full of cups, absolutely. So lots of love, lots of spiritual development for you this year. It's all about self-understanding and seeing things in a different way and making sense of it. You appear here as a Knight of Discs. Sorry for my dogs, they're barking because they hear something. Shh. Elmo. So, Knight of Discs, you can see him as a child having rest. It looks like they are on a journey and they are just taking a break beside the river or a brook. So again, water is present here. You're not in a hurry this year. and you learn. Perhaps you learn through action too, but it's a slow movement. And it looks like a planned break, a planned break in the journey when you feed not only yourself but also your horses, and when you rest in the shade and perhaps have first insights about the journey. These are, by the way, these are four main cards of the reading from Marielle Tarot. So we have Knight of Discs, you have Queen of Cups, and Ace of Cups, which is a very powerful pair, very powerful couple. And it's all about feelings, emotions, and spirituality. This Queen is very open to whatever life wants to give her. It's also a card of unconditional love. So you can exhibit the qualities of Queen of Cups, being very, I feel you're very vulnerable. And you can be very, very open, like an open cup, and ready to have something implemented within your womb. This is something new. And Ace of Cups is spirituality trespassing all other levels of existence. So it's a very strong influencing energy for you. And I feel there's a danger in this because the major arcana appearing here is the Devil. And the Devil may be about things that keep us entangled, keep us not free. But it's usually something we impose on ourselves, because the reality is that we are free. Deep in our souls, we are always free. But sometimes we are afraid of this freedom. And I think the Devil shows this dark places in our soul, in our personality, that we are really afraid to touch, because we foresee the power that is buried there. And perhaps we are afraid to set it free because we don't know what to do with it. The Devil for me represents all the things that you prefer not to touch, because you're afraid that when you touch it you will change completely. So there is a challenge here to look deep in the shadows, to look deep into things that you rather don't want to look at usually. And perhaps this vulnerability and this openness is this thing. Perhaps you have to give up power. But it's paradoxical, because it's not about really giving your power over to someone else. It's about not having to control everything. You're a hangman. You don't do anything. You just receive. Perhaps that's scary for you. Let's look at the lessons of the year. We have the Temperance here. So this is something inevitable. This is something you have to do. This is something you have to pass through. And it's all about patience and experimenting. Again, cups are visible here. You can see this angel is pouring water from one cup to another without spilling a drop. And it's about mixing all the elements of your life. It's water, earth, there is fire here, and there is also air all around here. And the magical component. How to mix them all together. What are the perfect proportions of this for your life to really thrive and to really move forward? I think this year gives you, I think it's an opportunity this year gives you, an opportunity to really be open to experiment on things. Perhaps what you need to learn is to see some additional information appearing here, to receive something from the universe, which will give you a kick to try new things in life, to try new proportions in life that you wouldn't even think about without this hangman state, without this divination, or without this insight that you're going to have by your openness. Who's your guide? Animal guardian appears here, and let me read it for you. Trust your instincts. Trust the powerful animal spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. So as I said, it's about learning. You have a powerful animal within that can be wild, protective, instinctive, and even calm. Animals don't second guess how they feel. They just express it. And you can learn from that. When this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Take the time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. Let even the fiercest energy move through you before returning to your natural state. It will teach you a lot about your gifts and how you can grow. So that's your guardian, that's your spirit helping you through the year. Think about the animal that is present in your life. Think about what's your favorite animal. What can you learn from it? How do you feel it? Now the challenge, you have the world. And the world is definitely about ending things, letting go. That's why I was talking about letting go. But also seeing success in whatever you do. Each life experience may be seen, may be labeled as a success or a fail, but you don't have to label it. You don't have to name it this way. You can just treat it as a lesson. And when you treat it as a lesson, it's easier to let go, really, whether it's a success or a fail. Because you don't have to name it. You don't have to attach yourself emotionally to these labels. So I think it's about letting go and really ending some chapters, which sometimes is difficult, not only because of us, but also because of those that are involved in the process. And here we come into a very interesting part of this reading regarding relationships, because I ask what's the answer to this challenge, and we have the burden card as the answer. You can see the ant having a leaf and pulling it. The leaf is bigger than the ant. Let me read it for you. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. And that's why I feel this Queen of Cups is a very important card in this reading, because she very often exhibits this quality of loving too much. As I said, it's unconditional love. And we can love unconditionally in a healthy or an unhealthy way. Taking the burdens of others is an unhealthy way, and I'm going to read it why. We see taking on stress of those we love and care for as the ultimate sacrifice. And the Hangman is also about sacrifice. We take on others' burdens to save them the trouble or heartache. Ironically, the way energy and the universe work makes this a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lessons circumvented will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. This is not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This is a separation one can feel from Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. Your relationships can then be based on truth and not manipulation. And I feel this is a very important theme in this reading. To really open yourself and open your heart and receive, but also being in the balance and really have boundaries. Because unconditional love doesn't have to mean that you don't have boundaries. It doesn't have to mean that you resolve yourself in other or let the other resolve in you. Because you lose yourself then. You lose the other if you let them do that. So be very careful about it. Not to trespass this healthy point of boundary. You can love, you can be open, but you don't have to lose yourself in this. You don't have to dissolve yourself in whatever it is, the person, the energy. All right? Your strength is the star. So I very strongly feel what I said at the beginning, that you may feel this is a very important part of your journey. And if you slow down and take rest, and if you are in this receptive mode, you may feel that this is precisely the way it should be. Like this is a planned period in life. This is the planned chunk, the planned chapter. Now perhaps is not so dynamic, but it's how it should be, because the star is about seeing the light, seeing the purpose, understanding your life path and following it with faith that it's all the way the universe wants it to be and that it's for your greatest good. It's also about your gifts, so you can be very aware of your gifts to the universe this year. You can even discover what are your gifts and give it freely to the world. Remember about balance still. If you want to give, you also have to take. Right? And finally, what to focus on. This card really fits here. We have Four of Pentacles, which is all about boundaries. This card is sometimes called the Miser card, and some people claim that it's not a very good energy. I strongly disagree, because it's a card of power, and you need to feel your power. You need to know where you are. You need to feel yourself in time and space and know exactly where you are. And I think this person has a great conscience of body, the great understanding of body, great feeling of body. It's a pentacle card, so it's about material reality. The way he's holding, the way he's balancing the pentacle on the head, the way he's putting, he's having these two pentacles under the feet. It all shows that this person knows precisely where he is and why, and what's the worth here. What am I having? Who am I? Where am I? What do I have on my head? How do I protect myself? And where are my boundaries? It's a very stable card, as each four in the tarot. It's about stability and structure, and you need to maintain your stability and structure if you want to save yourself from dissolving, from being a blob and sprawling in all directions. It's not the way energy likes to work, I think. So be concise. This is a very, very coherent card for me. Focus on this. Stay coherent. All right? Now, when I look at the seasons, in the winter we have Wheel of Fortune, and it may be a change for the better in some area of your life, but I feel it more as a divine timing. Like a cosmic clock finally is tolling. Finally, it's showing you the right hour. It's telling you it's your time. It's time to do it now. Perhaps you were waiting for something, for some energy to emerge, and now it's emerging. Now it's your time. So that's the first quarter, January, February, March. Then we have April, May, and June, and we have Six of Pentacles. And this is the sister energy to Six of Cups that is in the very center of your reading. It's also about harmony, and this harmony is based on the material side of reality. So it's a flow of energy. It's also about the ability to do whatever you need to do with things you have. I sometimes call it a MacGyver card. Whatever you're having, when you need to create something, you are able to use precisely the things that you're having to create it. It's a very magical card. And it's also about flow of energy. Definitely. But it's also about, it also shows itself to make you pay attention to the question of giving and taking. How much am I giving and how much am I taking? You may be in a state of receiving, but also being very passive. If you have this unconditional love energy and the Ace of Cups that is really trespassing everything, you can also be a very giving person in this period. And if you only give, you will, as I said, dissolve yourself. You will be out of your energy. So be very careful to balance, to maintain balance between giving and taking. All right? Then in summer, this is the most outstanding, the card that stands out the most in this reading, King of Swords. Suddenly we have this cold, cool, analytical, just energy of the warrior. Generally, this reading is absolutely feminine. It's all about this femininity and being receiving. And here, suddenly, out of the blue, comes Odin, because this is Odin. He sees everything. So if you have the need in your life to end something, perhaps this world is about ending, do it in summer. Because in summer you have a clarity of vision, the clarity of the mind, and you can be very aloof and really see things in unconditioned way. You can really be detached from all the things that usually that would usually keep you hanging, unmoving. So if you need a break from this energy, it comes in the summer. It's July, August, and September. You can be a warrior. You can fight during this time. And finally, the last quarter, which is October, November, and December, and we have a repetition card. It's called the Ferals, but it's the Temperance card, sometimes called the Art. And that's why I feel this year is really a chance. At the end of the year, you will be given a chance to concoct your life in a totally different way. All the experiences that you've gathered through the year, now you can use it to make new proportions, to make a new soup or a new elixir, because she's really experimenting with some chemicals or magical substances in order to create something that really fits your life. And as I said, if you need to end something, it will be ended by this time. I have this feeling about ending a relationship here, even if it's a very deep emotional relationship. But there is a possibility that you were abused in some way. So even if you love this person very much, now is the time to really put boundaries. And if you need to cut yourself out of it, you will be able to do this. Because I pulled 3 cards for you for emotions, feelings and love. And we have the Divine Order, 8 of Angels, which is 8 of Swords, and your card, the Retreat, which is the Hermit in this deck. I absolutely adore this card. It's beautiful. So there is a need to retain balance, to reinvent equilibrium in your life, perhaps on a totally different level from now. And it may cause the state of confusion. You may not see things the way you used to, and it may be very strange for you. It can also be that you finally realize that you are in some kind of a trap, mind trap, the way you think, that is making you not really living accordingly to your potential. So I have this feeling that you have the possibility to break some wall, to break a glass ceiling or a glass wall that is separating you from something real and from something that is really good for you. And when you do that, you really are able to ask yourself important questions and find answers. This card goes beautifully with the Star. I always say that the Hermit is holding a star in his hand. He searches for light and he finds it. So you can also search for life when you set yourself free, when you regain the Divine Order, equilibrium in your life, perhaps by an act of fight, an act of cutting yourself out of something, because the Divine Order is the Justice card. For some of you, it can even be very official, like some trial in a court. But not for all of you. But this requires some courage in breaking the vision that was really limiting for you. But you can do it beautifully, and you can go back to be yourself. That's the main thing, I feel. And that's the final card in the reading, which is also beautiful. Because at the end you find yourself. At the end you find yourself, and you see how wonderful and full of colors and intricate creature you are. If you were thinking you're not enough, if you were thinking that you need to deserve love, now I feel you really see that you're absolutely enough, and that you're worthy of all the wonderful things in life, and that you don't need to take others' burden in order to be loved and appreciated, because you appreciate yourself first and you love yourself first. That's what you learned this year. So it's a very beautiful year for you. If you haven't seen your reading for December or January, it's a good time to do it now. And I wish you a wonderful 2019, and I hope I see you in multiple readings during this year. It's a real pleasure to have you. So thank you for your time and attention. All the best. Bye-bye.